if you look at the Premier Division to start off with, there's so many teams that have come out stronger than maybe people had anticipated this year. So if you take a look at Simcox Gold, for example, new team into the Premier Division, they got promoted following their Division 1 win last year, and they only just missed out on half points against Ballasalla. Ballasalla obviously in contention for that Premier Division title again this year against Simcox Red. So the fact that Simcox Gold were able to keep them kind of tight the whole game to just miss out on half points, I think that's massive, particularly for a new team in that division.
And a young team as well.
Yeah, there's so much youth in that team, and I think it's great to see that they're beginning to find their groove, only on match 2 as well. So I think they're a team with a lot of potential that maybe have a lot more to give as the weeks go on. So it's great. Likewise, Ballasalla B played Simcox Blue yesterday. Teams that would normally be goal for goal in previous seasons, but actually the Blues taking a run of it yesterday and finishing 41-21 against the two teams. I think it was a bit of a shock to the system maybe. Again, the Blues being a new team, so they're not quite sure kind of combination wise what works, what doesn't yet. So I think that was a massive confidence boost for them. And also if we're looking down against some of the divisions, I think it was just amazing to see how close all of the games were. I don't think there's been a season quite like it, where in the first 2 weeks games are literally going one goal one way or the other. I just think it's massive, and it's a massive credit to all the teams to be able to contest this far and hold their own. So if you look at Division 1, for example, yesterday we had Balla C play against Thompson 2. Balla C only taking it by 4 goals once again. I just think it takes a lot of grit and determination to hold your own when you're going goal for goals in games like that. So a massive credit to the defence and to the shooters as well to being able to hold their own. Going down, looking at Division 2, once again, absolute scaffolding black, only beating Gems, the Emeralds team by 1 goal there. Castletown Navy beating Spaniards by 3 goals. Now I watched that game and it was goal for honestly about 10 minutes. You couldn't tell them apart going into the final quarter, so I just think it was fantastic that a team was able to hold out right until the end. Also, if we're looking down into Division 3, Simcox Silver beating Route 1 Volts by 2 goals, 34-32. Simcox being the trailing team the whole time, and honestly, they must have just had the win behind them in that last quarter, but they got a run of 5 turnovers, and that kind of won the match for them. So I think it's just great, looking to how the season's going already. We've only done week 2 and we're getting games like this, highly contested games, which is what we want to see. I think the fact that all divisions are so highly competed this year, it just makes the game so much nicer to watch because you can't tell teams apart anymore. It's great.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think this year has become seemingly so much more competitive and close than previous seasons?
So we're seeing a lot of juniors, so some of the under-14s and under-17s moving up into the senior divisions, and obviously they bring a different style of play than some of the people that have been in the senior division for a long time. Likewise, with the rollout of the national squads, we've got a lot of people doing more competitive training throughout the week, people that will be playing against each other, playing together, learning skills, learning tactics. It suddenly becomes harder to play against these people because you can read what they're doing. You have to go back to the drawing board, try and play differently, which is a massive credit to the island that, the level of play has just gone up, a level or 2. It's fantastic.
I think kind of watching the Netball World Cup as well, you see at training, I saw one of the girls who was playing for Ballasalla C faking the pass, and I was like, that's brilliant. And that is, I'm sure, will have come from watching England play and seeing the England players fake a pass into the circle and then pop it over the top or do a little bounce pass. And it's just really cool to see people having fun and experimenting with those little trick skills.
No, definitely. And I think because netball is on the rise across the world, it's going up everywhere. You can't scroll down on Facebook that long without seeing a video of the likes of Joe Harton or Helen Housby showing off some of their tricks, like a roll off a defender or a backwards bounce pass behind the back. Like these things that are seen normally just on a national stage, but they're showing people like me and you how to do that. And I just think it's great that people are really trialling these things out in games as well. Again, it just changes the dynamic again.
Absolutely. And coming up for next Sunday, week 3, looking ahead to week 3, what are the matches you would say to get the popcorn out for?
Again, there's so many, and I think it's so difficult to say who you would or wouldn't want to watch. But if we're looking at Div 3, Absolute Scaffolding Red and Simcox Silver are going up against each other. Now, 2 teams that were in tight battles this Sunday. I don't think there's much to tell the 2 teams apart. They're both quite new teams with a lot of youth in there, not a lot of experience. So again, I think it just comes down to those 2 on who brings the better game on the Sunday. So it'll be good to see those 2 taking on each other. Division 2, again, plenty of games to get down to see. I think all the games will be competitive and a good watch, but maybe some of the ones to look out for are Absolute Scaffolding Black versus Gem Sapphires. Again, Absolute Scaffolding Black are a team that have a mixture of youth and experience, whereas Sapphires are a team of mainly youth, some of the under-17s girls. So it'll be good to see what comes out on top, whether it is youth or experience. Likewise, we've got Castletown Navy versus Young Farmers B, 2 teams that can hold their own in a game, when it's going one way or the other. So it'll be good to see who gets to the finish line with the most goals on their end. If we're looking at Div 1, again, I think this is a very highly competitive division. Last year, there wasn't much that told teams apart in terms of who got promoted, who got demoted. So again, I think it's a highly competitive division. But we've got Rubies going up against Route 1 Turbos. I think that'll be a good match to watch. And also we've got Young Farmers A versus Thompson Travel 2. Thompson Travel 2 are a team that got demoted from the Premier Division last year, so they've got a lot of experience in there and mixed with a lot of youth. And Farmers are kind of a team that's been consistently performing in Div 1, so I think seeing those 2 teams against each other will be a good match to watch as well.